Grand Theft Auto is a series that a lot of games try to mimic and copy. A series that a lot of game developers want to be in competitive or competition with. It's a amazing game. A lot of people play it and continue to come back to it, even though the grind to get money in the game is terrible. But people continue to come back to the game because they know it's just so fun to be gangster or hood or drive in the streets and have all these cars and all these things. People know that this is literally the way. And so many game developers and game companies try to mimic that and wants to be the next game within crazy and amazing open world sandbox. And so far we haven't seen too many good games that was good enough to rival against GTA. Cyberpunk was a massive flop. It is doing updates after updates after updates to become better, but it's going to be a very long time before we ever see an online server for Cyberpunk. And that's what I'm here to talk about is a game that has been under the radar and a lot of people have forgotten about because it's been so long since it was out. And that game is Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is 100% a major competition for GTA. They did everything right and they actually did a lot of things more better than GTA did and could actually ever do. And Rockstar knows that. And Rockstar continues to improve on things they did not have in their previous games. Let me explain. Red Dead Redemption 2 did not have a crazy selection of melee combat. GTA definitely doesn't have that, and Red Dead Redemption 1 did not have it either. So what made them put so much more effort into a Red Dead Redemption 2 and making the combat so much more there? Let me more or less help you what I'm getting at. Sleeping Dogs has a wide range of different fighting styles and stances and so many things around the map that you can grab someone and shove them into. You could take somebody and bring them to a phone booth and beat their head in with a phone from the phone booth. You can grab people, throw them on saws. You could do all kinds of things in Sleeping Dog. There's so many weapons around in the area that you can just grab someone, bring them to, and then just beat them with it. Take a car door, push them down, and just beat their head in with a car door. That's how many things is in Sleeping Dogs. Red Dead Redemption 1 did not have that in the slightest. Their melee combat was not even really there, in honesty. But Red Dead Redemption 2, they put so much more stuff in it. You can grab someone, you can choke them out, you can just beat them up while you're grabbing them. You can just go and do so many different things. You can tackle, you can just, stand over, or stand over top of someone or whatever. There's so many different things to do far as combat in this game and they never have done that in no GTA or any Rockstar game. They have never expanded on the melee combat like this. Melee combat they usually keep very simple and they put a lot of work into more or less the firearms. And that is very different from Rockstar. That's how I know 100% if they see Sleeping Dogs as a major contender. Because what is the point to upgrade more or less melee combat in the games and more or less revolves around guns, firearms, and all kinds of things like that? You barely see anyone in a GTA or Rockstar or any like a Rockstar game using any form of a melee. You see them using firearms. That's just more of a play or more of the thing to use in a Rockstar game. You do not see hand-to-hand combat on a crazy level like Uncharted or anything like that. You don't see hand-to-hand combat like that. Never in a Rockstar release or a Rockstar game. You just don't. So for them to put so much effort and so much work into Melee, it shows they want to, bury that. Bury the thought of losing to Sleeping Dogs. You can see it. Sleeping Dogs had that melee mechanics. It was so amazing. But also another thing that Sleeping Dogs had, and you can see if they are trying to work on in Red Dead Redemption 2, is you're gonna see like a pattern. A lot of things in Red Dead 2 is the things that they're just testing. That's what I'm starting to realize. more and more, like I see people talk about how Red Dead sucks, it's dead, it's dead, it's dead. In all honesty, I believe that they're using Red Dead Redemption as just a test ground. Like, let me explain what that means. More or less, they can just add things to the game, and people might not like or think it's trash. And if it's trash, they won't add it to GTA, or they won't keep that as a mental thought for any other future games they decide to put out. But if it's good, they put it to other things. Like, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2 had gambling, I believe, first. And then they started to expand on it in GTA 5 and made it more and more better. Now, they came out around the same time. Now, yes, you probably might be saying, well, maybe they already had it already for both already in mind. But maybe they just tested for Red Dead first and then they got it to GTA next. Maybe, maybe not. But it's still for both of them to have gambling, especially for Red Dead Redemption, where barely anyone is playing the game, what is the point of gambling? That's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm looking at is they're testing things on Red Dead Redemption to add to GTA or future games. More or less, I look at it, they're just marketing or making more or less making money off of testing stuff. Instead of just testing new things, testing this and testing that, testing the melee and testing this, testing that on actual GTA, and then people don't like it, and then now they have to go back and then take it out. Boom, we'll just put it on a completely different game. See how the fans and more or less the people react. They like it. We'll keep it in this game. Maybe add it to our other games. Maybe keep a mental thought and keep a mental note to add this to future game titles. Boom. That is what I'm realizing with Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is not their game that they're really taking seriously anymore. They're not really caring about it. They really don't see it as a crazy game that's going to just, oh, we could just live off this instead of playing, continue to work on GTA. You could see it. You could tell everything they added to Red Dead Redemption first, or they just test it on there, or they just test stuff every so lightly, or every here and there. That's what I've realized. It's not a serious game title. There's not a game is going to just take over and GTA is done. This is the new game. That's what I'm starting to realize. Now, me, I wish they would have put more effort into Red Dead Redemption, more even if they decided to drop Red Dead Redemption, maybe go for a different type of game title, like maybe like a pirate game or something on those lines. That would be amazing. I heard like confirmation that they were thinking about making a Viking game, but I'm not very sure on that. I've heard some rumors on it, but that's what I'm looking at. They're working on something else, and they're trying to work on melee. Obviously, you can see that. That's a big importance to them now. Because there was never importance is combat or melee or weapons to them. What their main focus was is firearms. That's what they always cared about, and that's what their nonstop was like worried about. But another thing at Sleeping Dogs has, and what Red Dead Redemption is really working on, is the AI. GTA has a terrible AI system. The characters don't remember you. They don't know who you are. They barely have any discussion with you. Like for example, if you go into the store or in the shop to go find clothes, put them on and stuff, she doesn't remember you. She doesn't know who you are. She just complains like, "Oh man, I hate my job. Oh, please don't do this." She just says like annoying stuff. She doesn't know who you are. She doesn't remember you. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, all of the people that owns the stores and shops, they remember you. Hey man, you haven't been to town in a long time. Or when you first start the game, they start asking, who are you? I've never seen you around. Or when you first entered the town and just go into the store for the very first time, they you know introduce you like they don't know you. Like this is your first time seeing them. They remember you. And if you haven't been to the town for a long time, they will be like, "Hey man, I missed you. I haven't seen you in a while. I thought something happened to you." They interact with you and remember you. And that's when you can tell if they're really working on the AI system. GT has a terrible AI system. The characters in the stops do not remember you, and the characters that driving and riding and stuff, they don't know you, and they're just really like terrible AI. But Red Dead Redemption 2, they really worked on it. They make the characters get angry, they get fighting, they get guns, they react on what you're doing. If you put a mask on in town, they react to it. If you're just riding past uh NPC with a mask on, they're gonna say something about it. They're more there to interact and talk than in GTA. That's what I've realized about Rockstar, is they're really trying to work on the AI and melee combat, because that's what Sleeping Dogs had. Sleeping Dogs had an amazing AI system and a huge crowd of people. Like, for example, what Cyberpunk 2077, whatever, tried to implement or add, where there's a ton of crowds, tons of people walking around doing their own thing. They tried that. They failed at that. There is not a lot of people walking in the streets in Cyberpunk. It's just not there. But in Sleeping Dogs, when you're just walking or driving, you see a ton of people on the sidewalks, walking, talking. They are talking on the phone. They're saying all kinds of funny things. You have tons of shopkeepers trying to grab your attention to sell you something. You don't see that in GTA. You don't see that in Cyberpunk, some like here and there, but it's not a lot of stuff to pull you like that. And as well, you see in Red Dead Redemption, there's a lot of places you can go into. Now, yes, there's nothing happening in the online where you're able to go into the shop. Like you can go into like the bar, and there's not a lot of stuff in the bar, but you can still go into it. As well, like you can go into like this like hotel more or less area, and like go into the rooms and go into the place and look around, but you can't buy a room. You can't do a lot of stuff as you can do on the story mode as in online. Yes, we understand that. But they have all of this. They have a huge open map and a lot of buildings you can go into. That's the point. And they're trying to work on. Because that's what Sleeping Dogs had. Sleeping Dogs had these things. And the reason why I'm putting this video out and talking about this, if there was to ever be another Sleeping Dogs game, and they expanded on things that was in the first game and did okay, but maybe we didn't have enough of. Like for example, the map was extremely small for Sleeping Dogs. The map is like super tiny compared to GTA 5 at that. The map is completely just so tiny. Just imagine GTA 5, the city area. Just imagine that, and imagine it a little bit smaller. That's how small the map in Sleeping Dogs is to GTA. So the map, they need to expand on it. That's what I would say. The only thing that they need to really work on is the map, and maybe add more combat and work on the guns. Because the guns seems a little bit more too easy, I would say. You can let's shoot the car up wherever, or just shoot the tires and the car would just blow. Or yeah, just shoot the tires and the car would just blow up. That's how crazy the combat system was. You could just, you know, shoot the tires. They'll spin out, tip, fall, roll over, and then blow up. That's how crazy the like car explosions and factors and stuff like that were. They were not really good, I would say, and that's what they need to work on, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. These things they need to expand on and work on a lot more. If they were to make another game, and it's not out of the realm of possibility, it is there. They still have the license. And that's where the funny part is. Square Enix still has the license for Sleeping Dogs. They can always give it to any developer for them to make another game. They can do it. They could. They could add better art styles, more graphics, everything. Anything can change, especially for how long it's been. It could happen. We could get a Sleeping Dogs with, 60 frames, crazy, cracked out, just awesome stuff. Stuff it didn't happen in the first game, because the first game came out for the PS3, and then further on, like later, like I think you got like a like certain like I don't know exactly what it was, but it had it where you can play on the PS4 almost. But they really didn't redo everything. They redid some things, maybe like the graphics a little bit, but that was it. But it came out for the PS3, more or less when the PS3 kind of like was outliving his like his last times. Like more or less that's when the PS4 kind of like came out right after, and then GTA was coming out. So it was like it was already losing all of its this shine and heat and everything. It's almost like lost all of that. And that's what I'm saying. If Sleeping Dogs was to come out again, two, drop the storyline. I'm not gonna lie, the storyline was kind of a little bit. That's what I would feel like was kind of the like a not a good thing about the story. That's why people don't really remember the game because the game didn't have any funny moments. The story as a cop, an undercover cop, was okay. It was pretty action packed and fun, but it really didn't have anything that really stuck with you. Like for example, GTA 5. Everyone knows it because there's so many scenes in it because it's so many funny stuff, so many things that's happening that is extremely hilarious. So many things. You have the scene with Lamar. You have the scene with Trevor. You have so many scenes, especially with like Lester. You have so many characters that are you will never forget, and you just continue to remember them because of how funny they were, what they did, how their interactions were. That's what I'm talking about. If Sleeping Dogs maybe put more of an effort for that to make stuff that was more funny and less action packed and more for, like I said, funny, we probably could get a better game. So they have to really work on that part. Is the story. Story was kind of a little bit bland. They would just have to work on that, and then we probably get a better game. So, boys and girls, this has been a video from your boy Rocket. I just wanted to talk about some things, get some things out, and hopefully we get some gears turning with this video. You know what I'm saying? Something hopefully happens after this video. Thank you guys and girls for watching. I love you all. Hope you all have an amazing day. I'll see you when I see you. Peace out. Bye.